Pulitzer Prize-winning comic book artist Art Spiegelman has a rare exhibition of his work, most of it from his own private collection. That's on display now at the Art Gallery of Ontario in Toronto. His most famous work is Mouse, and like all of his work, it treats serious issues in comic book format. Deanna Sumanek-Johnson is here with more. So why is it that Art Spiegelman is such an important figure in the world of comic book creators, Deanna?
Well, it's interesting, Andrew. I feel like we're talking about comic books all the time. We were talking about Wonder Woman just yesterday, and the kind of political, subversive, very analytical of society nature of many comic books. And I feel like nowadays, maybe because we're inundated by so many movies based on comic books, we definitely recognize that. But for a long time, comic books were seen as a kind of low art form. And it's Art Spiegelman that really elevated it to art with a capital A that's shown in galleries. As you said, his work Mouse, which was really a graphic novel about his parents who were in Auschwitz, who went through the Holocaust, it's to this day the only comic book to win the Pulitzer Prize. So it's actually recognized for its kind of journalistic function as well. And now, as you've said, the AGO is holding this rare retrospective of 300 artifacts. Some of them are incredibly fragile drawings from the first time he's drawn them, including the original drawings of Mouse, his award-winning book. But also he had this famous cover of the New York Times called In the Shadow of No Towers, which was, of course, right in the aftermath of 9/11. So very politically interesting stuff that I think a lot of journalistic-y types will like. This opened at the AGO yesterday, and it's running until March.
Well, and if it's so low, then why does it fetch such high prices if it's in mint condition, some of the older ones? So tell us more about this exhibition itself.
The exhibition itself is going to be really, I think, something that has really never before been seen, definitely in Canada. I think it gives us into a little bit of an insight into the man himself as well. You know, some of his preoccupations with reflecting on his own past. He had this one thing to say about his name, which I absolutely love. The word Spiegel means a mirror in German. So he said, his very name, which is, of course, a German-Jewish name, he said, my name means Art Spiegelman, Art Mirrors Man. So he found that even his name is an analogy for his philosophy about his artwork. Wendy Mesley actually got a chance to sit down with Mr. Art Spiegelman. This is part of a longer piece that will run on the National in January, but we have a little bit of a sneak peek for you.
I was from a refugee immigrant household. We didn't even have TV as quick as other people did. So that was my codex, my guide to trying to understand the America we were in. And for me, it was really Mad Comics. Before it was a magazine, it was a comic book. And those early Mads, they imprinted on me as deeply as any duckling who followed a scientist around.
He goes on to say, actually, he reflected a lot in this interview on how much just how our view of comic books has changed, and you know that arguably they were always this kind of subversive force. And actually, what you and I talked about yesterday about Wonder Woman being this kind of feminist, proto-feminist hero when she was first drawn in the 1940s definitely proves that. But I think sometimes that this idea that comic books are for kids and they're fodder for these big Thor-like Hollywood movies is almost, it's not give them enough credit. And I think people who see this exhibit will definitely see that other side, the side that is political, reflective, intensely personal, obviously, for Art Spiegelman. I have to admit, I'm not a big comic book lover, but I absolutely love his work. There's a lot of emotion in it, and I think it would be of interest to people.
I'm definitely going to go. Sold. Thank you.
You're welcome.